Hey everyone, this is Christian again with another episode of Sent, and I have the opportunity to interview a good friend of mine, Taya Black, and her husband Ross Black. They do ministry, they do life, but they have an amazing family, and this is why I'm interviewing him is because they have adopted, and being an adopted parent, um, I get asked a lot of questions of how do you get through the adoption process. So I thought it'd be fun for us to deal with that topic. So first off, uh, let's start off with the beginning. How did you two meet?
We met in high school. We met before I knew who she was before she knew who I was. My family had moved to our town, and so new schools, new even a new country for me. And my sister was on the yearbook committee. My sister was in high school before I was, and she was on the yearbook committee, and somehow she came across Taya's picture, and she just gave me like explicit orders. When I get to high school, I need to make sure that if I'm going to have a girlfriend, it should be this girl. And she brought home Taya's picture for me, and she just said I just see her in at school. She's so kind, and it was so. My sister was trying to set us up before we had even like known what each other looked like or anything, and then over the course of about 4 years, we got to know each other. We actually worked together at our family's bakery, um, so we had got a little bit of work done and lots of kind of goofing around in the back of the bakery. And yeah, so
And you guys do ministry. Can you tell us a little about your life, your ministry, and your family?
yeah. Do you want to talk family?
Yeah, we have a 21-year-old son, Isaiah, and then Elijah is 17, Judah's 14, and Jada is 12.
Yeah. And I've always been a business owner. So when I was 13, I started my first little business. And then when I was 17, started the next one. And so kind of we've always just done business together. Uh, but our kind of early years of marriage were pretty tough. Uh, in large part, I feel like for just baggage that I brought into into the marriage, but also like we just were just very naive, and we both in like without just kind of blaming anyone, we just had some family kind of background stuff that just didn't really set us up for success, and we didn't have Christ as a foundation for our marriage, and so we struggled like pretty significantly for the first couple of years, and just one of the things that helped us significantly was we got invited to go to a Family Life Weekend to Remember conference, and we, for as bad as we were struggling, we didn't actually think we had any struggles. We thought everyone else was like, oh man, our parents, they're the ones that need a conference or something like that. But we thought it was a great deal in a hotel, and we thought, well, it'll be fun. We'll just go, and we won't actually even go to the sessions. We'll just go. So, but then we were like, we go to check in, and they're like, okay, well, here's your book. Come on in, and we're like, oh goodness, we're actually coming and sitting in on the sessions, and it was like kind of deer in the headlights, but
So good.
it just changed our life. Like it changed everything, and I think cut through a lot of garbage that we had, like just baggage and stuff. And it was just like, like there's like a song lyric about just like a crack, the door cracked with light, and it just kind of like, just that light just kind of starts shining in the darkness, and it just that's happened for us. Like it just layers and layers of just hard stuff started, I kind of being exposed, but also just work through, and so we really went to work on our marriage, and over time we were volunteering kind of every chance we had with Family Life, and so over time, all of a sudden, we realized like, wow, we could actually just do this. Like we do it full time, as missionary staff. And we had a lady in our church was a missionary in Lebanon named Bonnie Witherall. Her and her husband, Gary and Bonnie, had been serving in Lebanon. And one morning she opened the door to the medical clinic that she had been serving at, and a gunman came in and shot her in the head and killed her. And so we had found ourselves at the funeral of a modern day martyr, and her husband Gary just shared like a message of forgiveness and just incredible love, and then he just like looked out at the crowd that was there and just said, like, is what you're living for worth dying for? Because for Bonnie it was, and here we've been serving in ministry, but always just whatever extra we had, and I had been, business was always the top priority, and I was going to kind of solve all my problems with finances, but we knew right then that God was calling us to just go all in with him, and so from there, then we ended up joining Family Life staff as full-time missionaries, and it was a wonderful experience. It was so good for our family, and the ministry was amazing, and the friendships and everything like that. And we were actually on our way to Australia to work with Family Life there. Sold our house in Arkansas, and we're just waiting for our visas to come through for Australia, and they never came through. We got denied, and we waited and waited and waited, and it was the strangest thing. Most people like leave the mission field because of something big going on in their life, negative, or not having finances. And here we had everything. We were just waiting on that piece of paper from Australia, which does not seem like a hard country to get into, but
No.
yeah. So we it just was kind of the end of the road for that, or the end of that season, and so then ever since then we've just been. I've been back in business, but just with a big shift, like we're just trying to run our business to the glory of God, and it's been like, it's still hard work, but we see it more as ministry now, than we ever did before. So, yeah,
Great. God laid on your heart, a number of years ago, about 12 years ago, to adopt.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, we were at a Stephen Curtis Chapman concert at the very beginning of our marriage. And that's where he shared about his own adoptions and the plight of the orphan. And it broke both of our hearts. And we knew at that moment that that was something that God was telling us that he wanted for our family, and just really impressed that on us. And so we walked away knowing adoption would be a part of our family.
We didn't know when, but we just felt this confidence, like, okay, he's going to direct our steps. Like, it was like we already said yes then. Like that night, we were we knew it would happen, and we kind of almost knew that we didn't necessarily need to go like looking for it. Like we just knew it would happen, right? Yeah. And then, sure enough, being part of Family Life, we were part of the Christian Alliance for the Orphan. That was something that started just kind of right when we were getting there, and we had a lot of kind of overlap with our Family Life ministry and just the calling to care for orphans and widows in their distress, and so it was something we knew, but it did take some time. From like, how long?
Well, it was, after our third son, then we knew that the time, and we always told our boys, like, adoption, we're going to adopt. It's something that God did put on our hearts, and it would be a part of our family. And so it wasn't until after our third son that we knew it was the right time.
Yeah.
So, did you go through an adoption agency? How'd you begin the process?
Do you remember?
Yeah, a friend of ours had adopted through CCAI. God was steering our hearts towards China. We didn't really know why, but now we do. It's because that's where Jada was. And so we had friends who had also adopted from China, and they really liked their agency. And so that's the agency we went with.
It's interesting, like when you like look back, it's fun for us even just looking back and you see, I feel like this is what heaven's going to be like a little bit. It's just like to see to see how it all worked together, you know, and to see what was going on behind the scenes. Because someone gave me a copy of Randy Alcorn's book called Safely Home that just like opened our eyes to the church in China. And then we got invited to go on a Bible courier trip to China, and we went on that together when our boys were really, really little. And while we were there, then we saw some kids and adults begging, and they had like significant physical disabilities, you know, and including one that definitely had the same exact condition that Jada had, and just it was like all these pictures and moments in time that God just kind of used to just, it was like almost a thread that he was just like kind of hemming us in, you know, or kind of weaving through it all. So yeah.
So when you finally found out that you had the opportunity, did they fly you out to meet Jada, or did they fly her here?
We did home study. We did all the work to like legally get ready for adoption. We knew that China was on our hearts. Like we knew God was directing us to China. We knew because at that time with China's one child policy and things like that, we knew it would most likely be a girl. And we just knew that there would most likely be some sort of like special need or some physical challenge that we just were going to need to be prepared for. But we didn't really know much more than that. So we did with a local agency, our home study, which is kind of what you would do, I guess, if you were doing foster care or anything, right?
Absolutely. If you're doing any type of adoption, if you're watching this, that is one of the first initial things you have to go through is a home study. And I don't know about you, but there's this little bit of panic you have in your mind. Like, what didn't we clean? What's the expectation? And then when it happens, it's like one of the easiest things that ever.
Oh my goodness. I still remember our final visit was with the lady that was what do you call that child? What do you call her? Her title, but we decided to meet at the McDonald's in Bellingham, Washington, at the play area, so that the boys could play while we did our final thing, and we got the kids food, and then we sat down just to, you know, it's been so great working with you, and I just have a few final questions to walk through or whatever, and it was really like just ensuring that we are fit to do this, and I remember she starts the conversation, and one of my kids went all the way up to the very tippy top of the play area and found the squeakiest part of it and just bounce, and it was squeak, 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 and it was unbelievably loud. And so we ended up crawling up there to try to get them. It was like completely oblivious to the noise, and then come back down, kind of feeling a little bit embarrassed. Where were we? And she says, so I was just going to ask about your parents. And I said, oh, my dad, what a great dad. He never yelled at me. I've never even heard him call someone stupid. And I don't know what made me say that word, but one of my other kids that I think had never heard that word thought it was an interesting word and just started walking around saying stupid, 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 stupid. And we're like, no, don't say that. And it was like, you can't, just showed you can't actually control children at all, right? And
no.
Yeah, so we're embarrassed, and she's like, "Oh, it's fine," you know. And but we made our way through it. It was
comical.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were exhausted, just dripping with sweat, having that final conversation with her.
But that's the thing, you don't know until you've gone through it. I think we allow the fear to overtake.
Yes, so true.
And I just remember cleaning the same area 3 times, and my wife Kate cleaned the same area 3 times, because it's like everything has to be perfect.
fire extinguisher in the right place. How can we not have a fire extinguisher in our, like the third
Yep.
bathroom or whatever? It's like, who has a fire extinguisher there anyways, But yeah.
Child-proof locks.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we did that. And then our agency is called CCAI, Chinese Children Adoption International. And they're based out of Colorado. We submitted all of our paperwork to them. And it's just their process. Before you consider any kid profiles or anything like that, they're like, we've got to make sure that you're actually able to actually follow through on this, kind of the remaining steps, right?
Yeah. And then we were matched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a big form you fill out, just, what's on your heart, what you think, God's directing you to as far as like ages and all of those things. Yeah. Special needs. And we're filling out this form saying like, yes, yes, yes to everything. We didn't have a clue. Like there was some medical diagnosis we had never even heard of. And this is kind of like, you can like chat GPT, like, what does this mean? What does that mean? Or whatever. What would it be like to try to care for someone with that? So we had no clue any of it. Right. So we just said yes to everything. And then they said, okay, well, we'll let you know we'll start kind of figuring out what children fit that profile and we'll send you some. And then do any idea how many days?
For like 6 months. It was a week. It was a week. Yeah.
And then they, I believe they emailed or called and said, hey, is there a chance that we could get on a phone call? And we did that very night. And it's like they were going to maybe present several children to us, but they, the very first one that we were having a call about was Jada. And, they sent an email and we saw her picture and it was like, we knew we knew the second it was like, that's our girl, like we just knew instantly, before we knew anything else about her or whatever. So, yeah. So we had a conversation then about her medical condition and
it's really, her condition is a spectrum. So you really don't know what that's going to be. And China gives very little information. And a lot of times, or sometimes it's not even accurate. So you don't really know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
But we just knew she was our girl.
Yeah. So we said yes right away. And then they're like, they're obviously trained to be like, hey, you know what? Let's slow this down a little bit, And so they're like, okay, that's wonderful. Well, I tell you what, here's all of her information. We're not going to fill anything out. We're not going to say anything or whatever. Let's give you a little bit of time to process and do some research and stuff. And so I feel like we had a couple of days even, but we just had said yes. And we just continued to say yes nonstop. And then we started the actual paperwork for specifically adopting her, which is quite a bit of, it's almost kind of pre-immigration paperwork and things like that, right? Yeah.
So that's a good question for me to ask because my experience was way different than anybody's. Way I had to do it in Uganda is 10 times different. So describe about technically how much paperwork are you talking about?
Yeah, it was I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I was just thinking of like straight up pages of forms to fill out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised it's 200 pages that you're just being like, hey, what is this form? Okay. And a lot of copying and pasting, our name and social security number and all that stuff. But then a lot of like, just prove it that you're not going to bail on this and that you have a plan and that you're together in this and then you get that one kind of agency taken care of, and it's like, okay, now prove it to the federal government, and now prove it to the Chinese government, and lots and lots of paperwork, and
the background checks.
Oh yeah, yes. Absolutely, yeah.
Did you have to do Interpol too?
Yeah. What did we do? We did. I don't even remember what all we We did. Okay. Yeah. We did a Washington and a federal thing. I don't know. Because Interpol's international, right?
International.
Yeah.
So because I actually had to adopt inside Uganda, I had to live in Uganda.
Yes.
So that's why the adoption is way different,
Yeah.
whatever country you're living in. And so I had to live in country. So I lived in country for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Um, so I had to go through Interpol.
Wow.
And so a lot of my paperwork, me and my wife were sending back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and
No, we did not have to do that.
We did not have to do that.
Yeah. Interesting.
so there's those interesting struggles either direction you go into, whether it's a live-in country or you're applying or you're doing foster care. Every version has its paperwork.
Yeah. And then, it seems like each country has requirements as far as how long you need to stay in country, how many visits you need to have had, or what agency you got to go to there. And I know in China, it was 3 weeks in country, and kind of we had to do a like a Beijing portion, and then in her province, and then in Guangzhou. Kind of, it was like 3 legs of the journey, and each step had to have certain kind of Chinese paperwork taken care of too.
Interesting. But that's also great for you because then you can answer some questions later on.
Yeah. So it was, and we're so grateful. Like we had been in China before, just the two of us, but it was, I don't know if this is skipping ahead or anything like that, but we were just so grateful that God provided the finances for us to be able to go as a family and bring our boys with us too. So the day that we met Jada was the day that they met Jada. And we love China and they love China. And it was such a gift to have that experience as a family. I know that not everyone can do that. And so it's one of the kindest things I feel like that God has ever done for us is to give us that moment all together, So,
So I take it the boys actually had an easy time adjusting to having a baby in the house.
It went incredible. Right from the start. I feel like God had been preparing their hearts so much too. And even with her condition, it was like God just knew that she needed 3 big brothers that would just be able to pick her up and carry her where she needed to go and stuff. We're just incredibly grateful for each person's kind of role that they play in the family and stuff. So.
Well, you were able to find her and go through the adoption process in China. But I know the adoption process doesn't end there.
Yeah.
Can you go through with your experience on the adoption process in the United States side, bringing your daughter home?
Yeah. Anything in particular there? We actually readopted her when we got her.
Yes, you go through a readoption process. People don't talk about that, but it's like you feel done and yet you're not.
Yeah. No, I know.
Which is wild.
This is where I feel like it would be one of the biggest gifts that someone could give, even if they didn't feel called to adopt. If you've got the ability to like just navigate paperwork or kind of like maybe some like legal stuff doesn't scare you, or just the ability to be like, hey, I will type for you. You talk, I'll type, or I'll watch the kids while you fill out the paperwork. Or I just feel like there's so many different ways that people could probably come alongside adoptive families beyond even adopting themselves and even beyond finances, even though it costs a lot financially too, right? But
absolutely,
but it's this massive to-do list to work your way through, right? So
it's interesting. You brought up the verse about widows and orphans.
Yeah,
I always find it interesting. It never says how to do it.
Yeah,
and a lot of speakers will say you need to give to their organization to fulfill it.
Yeah,
I go, that's great, but that's only if the Lord lays that on your heart. But like you're saying, helping parents adopt, that's awesome.
Yeah,
going to visit grandmas that have lost their husbands. It's not defined, but you just do it, and it's how God instructs. Like God instructed you to adopt your daughter, and so you make a difference in an orphan's life or a widow's life. So I think
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something there's a part for everyone to play in it, right?
Yes,
And
absolutely. And I think that's a lot of people don't realize they could be a part, even making some meals for parents
yeah,
that are adopting, just to help
absolutely.
them out.
Hey, on the financial side, we had, like, God has provided in so many ways for us.
Yeah.
I think often it's like he's like, because I've always had a business, so I've always been able to be like, well, I'll just work a little harder and I'll get a little bit more money, right? And some of the ways that he has provided are like, this is not
Miraculous.
this is
Over
not
the
from
top.
working at all. And so even we had a garage sale. Do you remember how much it was?
It was like $7,000. God provided in the pouring rain
in Washington State, in like an absolute downpour. We couldn't price tag anything. We couldn't do any, like, we had tarps, just like tables covering the entire driveway and front lawn of just stuff that people had donated. And it was like, we barely even had a moment to even get it on a table and they get it covered with a tarp. And it was like, this is our day. This is like our fundraiser day. And it was an absolute downpour.
Yeah.
And people were driving up, not even getting out of their car, just like maybe pointing like, how much for like the clock there or whatever. And we're like, we don't know. And they're like, here's $50. It was unbelievable just how he provided and how he even just used like other people's junk, like leftovers. And it was almost like, hey, like, in spite of the rain, in spite of your inability to, because I wanted to run a garage sale like a business, like, hey, we'll have this orderly and we'll greet everyone, we'll, everything's priced right and stuff like that. And it was like, no, I'll do this without you. Just show up and watch what I do, so
it really felt like he was taking loaves and fishes and multiplying it, and then just showing us that it's about how he moves in people's hearts to give, and the conditions of the weather don't matter. The items that we're selling really don't matter. It's just him moving in people's hearts. And it truly was miraculous. And we're still in awe over it, just how he provided that day. It was really phenomenal.
We had a garage sale a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
we made like $14. Beautiful day. We had everything set up the way we wanted. And it was like, okay, what he did was so far beyond what we could have imagined. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And then after you went through the adoption process, you end up having to do a lot of adjusting.
Yeah.
The baby, did you notice anything like a detachment disorder or anything from the get?
We did not.
That's
really
good.
Went really, really well. The first few days she was really scared, but once she felt safe, she really attached to us, and God has just filled her with so much joy. She just radiates joy wherever she goes, and so that went really, really well.
And she had to have how many surgeries?
How many has she had so far?
I think she's had like 8.
Yeah.
She's had a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been hard. But again, like, her joy has been like, it's supernatural. It's the amount of joy that she has, and her ability to like try again, or to trust, is it's pretty incredible. So, she amazes everyone and inspires everyone. Like, she's got a real team of doctors and therapists here and stuff like that, and friends and teachers and stuff. And it's, I think, probably joy is probably the number one thing that everyone sees in her. And like Tiss, she just radiates it. It's a pretty beautiful thing. It's contagious for sure.
Yeah.
So
does Jada rule the brother?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh goodness. She's got the whole house kind of figured out. Yeah. So
It was exciting to watch from afar. Because again, I've known Taya for a long time. Went to college with her, but it's just amazing to see you guys parent her. And I never see a photo of her without a smile on her face. It's
Yeah.
incredible. What has been the best experience for you through the adoption process?
I think just receiving Jada, she is such a gift to our family. We cannot imagine our lives without her. Um, she's a treasure.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that the Lord gave her to us. Like, it's really remarkable. And yeah.
Her name Jada is Hebrew for he knows, and there's like so much about her like little life that we just don't know. Even medically, I mean, she literally has the number one surgeon in the whole world that who focuses on her condition is her doctor, and there's still things that it's like, man, I just don't know what's going on here. We've never seen this before, and it's been amazing just to see like God, like it's like he knew that she was our girl, and he knew exactly what we needed when we needed it, and he knows the future for her. He just I just feel like time and time again we've just seen his like perfect provision, even when we haven't known what to do. Like there's been times where we have been like completely baffled. Like we do not know what route to take from a medical perspective, or how to maybe. There's been some really hard times, sad times, and we haven't known like personally what to do. Like our scripture talks about like trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him. That same word like yada, and it's like that's her name, Jada. Like know that he knows, and we've just seen that so many times. Like we can just keep trusting that he knows what's best. He knows the past and the future, and we can trust him. And then it's almost like we just trust and wait on him, and then boom, he just directs our very next step. And we're always wishing it'll come sooner, and we're wishing like, hey, I've got 3 good ideas. Which one of these should it be, or whatever. And it's almost like as soon as we just kind of just like release it to him, then it's like, oh, now we know what to do, because he's kind of back in control of it. And so it's been it's just been amazing to see him at work. And I think just the encouragement to see it's been a positive impact on our entire family, not just our kids, our parents, our siblings. Like she's brought so much joy to both sides of our family and to our community. And there's just something about seeing like like they talk about like one of the nicest things you can do for others is to show kindness to their children, right? And just seeing the joy when like everyone looks at her, they smile, and they just kind of brighten up a little bit, and it's just such an awesome thing to see, I think. Yeah.
So, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that's struggling? They're going through the struggle of adoption. They hit that mark that all of us have gone through who have adopted, where they're just feel like hitting their head against the wall because they're just frustrated. What advice would you give them?
The first thing that comes to my mind is he will provide. Just over and over and over again. God has shown that to us through Jada, and he will provide. He will meet the need, and we can trust him with that.
Scripture says like even when we are faithless, he's faithful, and so like I think I tend to trust in my own ideas or my own like effort or something like that. And when those start failing on me, then I'm faithless. Right? It's like, oh, my faith is less, right? And it just kind of keep reminding like he is faithful. This is his child, and like he loves these children, right? And I think like kind of just walk with him in it, and yeah, there's those frustrating times. Oh my goodness, there was times we were filling out paperwork thinking it was auto saving. Nope, did not save anything. Like,
oh no. I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's happened to all of us.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Save your work as you go, right?
Yeah, save your work.
Yeah, he's so faithful, and those those hard times and those exhausting times, they do kind of prepare you for some of the hard times that you know, with every child. Like, you're going to go through seasons, and you're going to go through unexpected things and stuff like that. And so being willing to just grind it out through the prep for home study, and through all the paperwork, and through the fundraising, and through the waiting for weeks or months, or some wait for years even, for just one photo or whatever, one update while you're in the process, and being willing to be people that are just like Eugene Peterson has that book called A Long Obedience in the Same Direction, where you just kind of set your mind on it, and it's like, we're just going to stay obedient, and we're just going to keep walking through this. And I feel like that's what kids need too in parents, right? And is like, you're going to stick with this for the long haul. So yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. If you're going through this, don't fret. Leave a comment down below. I know I'll answer it. I'm sure if you guys catch it, you'll answer. It's okay to ask for advice. That's one of the things I want to get across to people. Don't think that you need to go through it alone. Find others that have gone through it. We're glad to answer any questions, because what your heart is good. That you're going after a child who needs a home. And that's beautiful. So thank you guys, and
absolutely.
God
bless. Yeah, we appreciate it. And just keep up the good work too. I love it's so easy to find news that is negative and critical and condemning and stuff like that. And it's not that everything needs to be positive, just for the sake of being optimistic, but it's so good to hear good news, and to, like, we do have to kind of remind each other, like, God is at work, and
absolutely. And that's what I'm trying to keep my page about evangelism and discipleship, and tackling issues in a positive light instead of a negative light, because we serve a God that wants to do good in our lives. So
all right, we'll see ya.
God bless.